today I'm going to share with you a bingo activity. This is called the New Words Bingo, and it is an ESL vocabulary game. It starts off with a little bit of prep, but then after that it is a no prep classroom activity that you can use in several lessons after you make it. This activity includes elements of listening, reading, and writing. So you're covering a lot of the key skills that you want your students to be developing. Let's start off with the activity and what it is. So you can see here. Now what you have at the top, you have this blank bingo grid with the letters B-I-N-G-O at the side. At the bottom of the worksheet, you have lots of words. Now, in this example, these are words that use the magic E. You can replace those with any words you want. So, how do we do this activity? Well, first, have your students write the words into the bingo grid at the top. So you can see at the top here, we have this B and then we have 5 spaces. And down here we have B and we have 6 words. So what they're going to do is they are going to choose 5 words from this list and write them at the top here in a random order. If they want to just copy them in that order, that's fine. They can do that too. But what you want them to do is to choose 5 and then they can write them in any order they want. So it will look something like this. So one word will be omitted. Then you tell them to just repeat it. So they look at the eye line and they look at the eye line down here and they choose 5 and they put them in the grid. And they go down the list and do the writing. This is the only time they need to do prep. And after they've completed their bingo grid, they can reuse it in subsequent lessons without having to rewrite the words. So there's a little bit of prep at first, but then it quickly becomes a no prep activity. So once the students have finished making their grid, what's the next step? Well, the teacher then begins to call out the words. So what you're going to do is you're going to limit the game to 10 bingos. So when 10 students get bingo, that's the end of the activity. Okay? So what you're going to do, the teacher is going to say B line. So all students know to look at the top of the line here, the B line, and you say the word. So B line, take. So students will look down the line and they will trace over that word. So they are rewriting the word again. They are tracing it with a colored pen. Okay? Then the teacher will say the next one. If you want to write it on the board as you say it, you can do that as well. If these are brand new words, I would recommend doing that. So students who have difficulty with reading, they can look at the word on the board and then look for that same word in their bingo grid. Okay? So next the teacher will call out eye line, mate. Students will look down the line, they see mate, and they will write it. They will trace over the top of it with their red pen. Then teacher, N line, rate. So they write rate here. Okay. Next one, G line, wide. So students look wide and they trace the word wide. Okay. Next one, O line, cube. Cube. Okay. Then once you've finished, you go back to the top and you just repeat. So B line, make. I line, game. N line, base. G line, sight. O line, mule. And the students are just listening and they are tracing the words as they go. So they're getting listening practice, they're getting reading practice because they're finding the word, and they're getting writing practice. Now, what happens if the students have a word that isn't written? So if you call out B line, bake, the student looks, oh, I don't have bake. So they can circle it down here. I tell them they can circle it because typically these might be a little bit small for them to trace. If they're using a thicker kind of highlight pen, it might be difficult to trace it. So I just tell them, circle the word down there, just so you find it. Okay? And then we continue the game. So next one, I line, came. Right, came here. Next one, N line, side. Well, we don't have it. It's down here, so they just circle it. Okay, then the next one, oh, chance at bingo, what's it going to be? Teacher calls out, G-line, line. And there we go, I have a bingo. Here we go, bingo. So the student will call out bingo, raise their hand. You'll give them a sticker, and you'll mark off one person on the blackboard. Remember, at the start of the game, we told the student that we were limiting it to 10 bingos. So that means that when 9 more students get a bingo, the game is over. Once the first person gets a bingo, typically the game will finish up quite quickly after that. You can get a vertical line or a diagonal line is also okay. Typically there will be no horizontal bingos in this game because it requires you to do 5 rounds. At least it will require you to do 5 rounds to get a horizontal bingo, and typically most students will get either a vertical or diagonal line before they get a horizontal one. So don't worry about that so much. But that's it, that's the game. And then you just tell the students, all right, that's the end of the game. Put this worksheet in your file or in your folder, or put it in your textbook, and then next lesson you can start it again. So when you want to do it in the next lesson, you just tell them to take out their bingo sheet and take out a different colored pen. And then we do exactly the same thing. Teacher begins to call out, beeline name. And the student finds it and they highlight it. They write over the top of it, trace the word in that new color. And we just play the game again in exactly the same way. But only this new color counts towards getting a bingo. You can't mix the new color and the old color, okay? So the teacher keeps calling out the words, the students trace over the words until they get a new line of this new color, and that's a bingo. And so you can do this activity over several lessons. After the 3rd lesson, it might start to get, the worksheet will look a bit scrappy if they're doing the tracing. So what you can do is tell them, okay, this time we are just circling the word. You are removing the writing element, of course, but that's fine. You still have the listening and the reading element in the activity. So it is still a good activity to do, even if it is missing that writing portion. And typically that means the game can go a lot faster too if you're just circling. The 3rd time you do it, you can do circles, you can do triangles, and then another time you can just have them cross out the word completely. So potentially you can do this activity up to 5, maybe even 6 times before the worksheet becomes unusable. So you're getting your money's worth out of this piece of paper that you're giving to the students. This is a new words bingo activity for ESL vocabulary, and it is a no prep classroom activity, but it does require a little bit of prep the first time you do it. But after that, it is a true no prep activity, and it covers the listening, reading, and writing skills that your students need. So if you found this good, if you have any comments, please put comments down below. If you like this activity, please give the video a like. And if you'd like to hear about more of my activity ideas, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and it will inform you when I post new videos. But anyway, I hope that was useful. See you next time.